Hi all, welcome to a new webinar. I think my voice is clear and screen is visible to all. So let's wait some time and start in a few minutes. I think we can start now. Today we are going to discuss about Odoo 80 accounting module. The process of reporting, documenting, illustrating and summarizing financial data is referred to as accounting. An organization or business cannot function without accounting. It serves as a primary point of contact for all type of commercial dealings. Accounting has been refreshed over the years as a contained system for maintaining financial records and supporting an accountant's responsibility. So, the main objective of this webinar is to inform other people and the end users about the Odoo 80 accounting module. We will concentrating on the main features like chart of accounts, taxes, journals, and multi-currency management, etc., and new enhancement in the accounting module in this session. So before starting, let me introduce myself and my company. I'm Subisha, functional consultant at Cybrosys Technologies. Cybrosys is a certified official level Odoo partner company that provides Odoo implementation, Odoo customization, and aligned services in Odoo software. This company is nailed several successful projects and is known for providing the most advanced and highly reliant business management solution in Odoo. So, why Odoo? Odoo is an open source ERP solution which is growing every day and has millions of users. The main reason is that Odoo includes wide range of business applications including trading, accounting, HR modules, customer relation management, etc. So Odoo is easily customizable, cost effective, and there are lots of options for integration and customization. The main advantage of Odoo is that which releases an advanced version in every year. So let's discuss about the main topics of accounting module of Odoo 18 Enterprise version. In this webinar, we will concentrating on chart of accounts, tax configurations, journals, payment terms, invoices and bills, customers, fiscal position, multi-currency management, budget management, asset management, default accounts, deferred expenses and deferred revenues, log dates and reporting. So the chart of accounts contains a list of all the accounts that are used to record financial transaction in general ledger of a company. This account list will help a corporation keep track of all its financial transactions. One of the difficult accounting management tasks that demands accuracy in execution is tax calculation. Tax computation has become much easier since the Odoo accounting module was introduced. Journals. Recording all of the accounting transaction in accounting journals is crucial. A record of transaction organized by date is called an accounting journal. Users can establish sales, purchase, bank, cash, credit card, and miscellaneous journals in Odoo 18, which record the business transaction in these journals by adding journal entries after generating the appropriate accounting journal. Payment terms. Each organization has unique techniques for collecting for payments. Create a new payment method and use them making invoices and bills depending on the company regulations. The terms of payment will specify the circumstances in which payment is made. Fiscal positions. For various nations, there will be variation in exchange rates and tax procedures. Odoo 80 will assist in developing the necessary rules to automatically change the taxes and accounts of the company utilized for business purposes using the fiscal positions. Multi-currency management. So in Odoo 80, multi-currency features allow the business to handle transactions, invoices, and accounting in multiple currencies, providing flexibility for global operations. It includes automatic exchange rate updates, accurate currency conversions, and comprehensive reporting to streamline international financial management. Asset management in Odoo 18 streamlines the tracking, depreciation, and disposal of company asset through an integrated and automated system. It ensures accurate financial reporting with scheduled depreciation entries, customizable asset categories, and seamless integration with accounting modules. Budget management. In Odoo 80 accounting, analytic budget management helps the business plans allocate and monitor budget effectively by linking them to analytic accounts and tags. This features ensures better financial control and support data-driven decisions making to stay aligned with business objectives. Deferred expenses. Expenses that have been incurred but are not yet payable are known as deferred expenses. Deferred expenses are crucial because they give firms a mechanism to account for cost associated with asset that will be used over an extended period of time. Next one is deferred revenue. Deferred revenue feature is especially helpful for business that provide subscription services or having a recurring revenue model because it's make it possible for companies to monitor client payments made in advance for goods or services that have not yet been received. The last one is reporting. Reports are necessary in any organization in order to comprehend and the operational stage at which a firm is working. A financial report that provides an overview of the company's finances specifies some of the most noteworthy reports and graphs on the company's profit and loss statements and other financial characteristics. So let's move to the Odoo 18 accounting module features. Open the accounting module. So here we can see the dashboard of Odoo 18 accounting module. The dashboard contains some favorite journals like customer invoices, vendor bills, bank, miscellaneous, etc. Here we can see the details about the particular journal from the dashboard itself. And by clicking on the three dots or three dots from here, we can create a new invoice, credit note, and we can upload invoices from here. To view invoices, credit note, payment matching, journal items, we can use these options. And here also the invoice analysis report and aged receivable reports are available from the dashboard itself. We can customize our journal by choosing these colors, and if we want to remove this particular journal from the favorite list, we can use this. And by using the configuration button from here, we can move to the configuration of this particular journal. So let's start with chart of accounts. As I said before, chart of accounts is a list of all accounts that are used to record the financial transactions of a company. So you can access the chart of accounts platform from the accounting module's configuration button or configuration menu. So you can effortlessly manage the current accounts as well as establish a new one based on your needs. So let me choose this chart of accounts. So here we can see which contains a list of accounts with code, account name, type, allow reconciliation, company and such fields. Here the account type state the type section which is used for informational purpose to produce legal reports tailored to certain nations to establish the guideline for concluding a fiscal year and to produce opening entries. And the account enables journal item matching between invoices and payments by turning on this allow reconciliation model or this allow reconciliation box. So if we want to create a new account, we can click on this new button. Then we need to add some code and we need to specify the account name. I'm adding it as export sales. Then I need to choose the type from here. Or here I'm choosing this account as an income type. Then by using this view, we can view the configuration of this particular chart of accounts. Here we can see the code and the account name. From here we can change the account type also. Here we can set default taxes and disallowed expenses. Here the tax is an optional tax you may want to assign for custom reporting. And the allowed journals specify which journal this account can be used. And if we want to allow the reconciliation, we can enable this box. And if we want to deprecate this account, we can enable this checkbox. And we can specify account groups here, and we need to specify the company name. After adding the changes, we can save this chart of accounts. Here, the account's debit and credit balances will be displayed by this balance button. So the next one is tax. So we get the tax option under this configuration menu, and we can choose the taxes from here, which list up previously configured taxes with tax name, description, tax scope, tax type, label on invoices, company, and etc. To create a new one, click on this new button. In the tax name area, give the name of the new tax, and you can choose between the sales tax and sales or purchase tax type. Here it chooses the area where the tax can be chosen. The tax cannot be used individually when the value is none. But it may be applied to a group. By choosing the appropriate choices in the tax scope field, you can limit the application of tax to certain class of goods. To conceal the tax without deleting it, set the tax's active property to false. You can choose from the tax group of taxes, fixed or percentage, group of taxes, fixed percentage of tax included choices in the tax computation field to specify how the taxes will be computed. If we choose the group of taxes, the tax is actually a collection of subtaxes, and the subtaxes are what used to calculate the overall tax. Using the add a line option, here we can mention the sub taxes under the definition tab. And the next one is fixed. We can specify a fixed amount of for the tax here. And by using this percentage, we can add a percentage amount here, and this particular percentage is calculated as tax. And if we choose a percentage of tax included, which have another calculation for tax, and we can add the percentage here. Currently I'm choosing the type as percentage, and I'm name the tax as VAT tax, and here I'm specifying the tax percentage as 25%. And inside this definition, we can mention the distribution of this particular tax for invoices and the distribution for refunds. And let's check the advanced option. Here we can add the label of invoices. So this label will visible inside this invoices, and we can add any description here. I'm adding just a description for VAT tax. And here we can see the tax group. So this particular tax is included in this particular tax group. We can see or we can create a new tax group from here, and we can add the payable, receivable or such accounts from here. And here we can specify the company name and the country. So the amount calculated by this tax will be assigned to same analytic account as the invoice line when we include the analytic cost, currently which is not available here. And details about the company and country can be specified here. If the price you use on the item and invoice contain in this tax, turn on the included in price field. And Depending on the effective base of subsequent taxes, it will have an impact on the taxes that come after this one in a sequence. And here we can mention a legal note. Legal note is a newly introduced in Odoo 18. We can mention the legal mentions that have been printed on this invoices. I'm adding a VAT tax of 25% as legal note. Then let's save the taxes. So the new taxes added inside the list. Then let's move to the next session, which is journals. So for recording all the accounting transaction, we use the accounting journals. We can move to journal from this configuration menu. Here, which shows a list of previously configured journals with journal name, type, shortcode, and default account. We can use this new button to create a new one. First, we need to specify the journal name here. I'm adding the journal name as sales journal. So, the company from will or the company name will automatically fill in this with your company name. You can create journals in Odoo 18 for sales, purchase, bank, cash, credit card, miscellaneous, etc. Currently, I'm choosing it as sales journal. So we get or we can specify the accounting information for the entries in this journal under the journal entries tab. On this page, you can specify the default income account. And if you don't want to share the same sequence for invoices and credit note from this journal, you can enable the credit note or dedicated credit note sequence feature. And dedicated debit note sequence is enabled or check this box if you want to share the same sequence for invoices and debit note made from this journal. And the short code field, you can indicate the shortened name that will be shown inside the invoice. This prefix will used by default to name the items in this journal. You can specify the currency in the relevant field or that was used to record the accounting statements. Here I am adding the short code as sale. Then inside the advanced settings, we have sessions like control access, payment communication, and create invoices upon emails. So you can manage access by stating the allowed accounts in advanced settings. Keep the field blank if you don't want to set any control for accounts. Enabling the lock posted entries with hash option will result in the accounting entry or invoice receiving a hash as soon as it is paused. Let me or enable this, and here we can see the auto check option. The entry that has been posted then become locked. You cannot change by longer by enabling this posted entries with secured hash. And the next, here the auto check is on, then the post is enabled. Then here we can specify the payment communication method inside the communication type section. To make it easier for the customer to remember to refer the specific invoices when making the payment, you may select the default communication that will appear on the customer's invoice once it has been validated. Open based on invoice or based on customer is available here. For each sort of reference, you can select different models in communication standard column also. And the Odoo references is used as default one here. Then it's possible to make invoices based on email by specifying an email server here. After adding such details, we can save the journal, and here we can see a Smart Tab journal entries. This will show all the journal entries created by using this particular journal. And the next one is payment terms. We can configure different payment terms from here. So we can click this new button to create a new payment term. You can enter the name of payment terms and company in the corresponding field. Here I'm adding the name as within 30 days. Then we can mention the company name here. Then the add a line button under the due term section, you can specify the payment terms. In the due type field, you can choose the type of value that correspond to this particular payment term slide. It could be a fixed amount or a percentage. Then we got an option to give early discount to the customers. Here, by enabling this early discount, you can enter the early payment discount offer for this line in a discount area, which indicates the number of days left before the early payment proposition expires in the discount days field. After setting up these payment terms, you can use them to create records of vendors or customers in the sales and purchase tab of the contact form. Currently, here I am adding a 50% discount paid within 5 days. Then let's save this. So the new payment term is created. So we can simply drag this payment terms like this. Then let's check where the configured payment terms taxes journals are used. For that, I'm creating a customer invoice. We get customer invoice option under this customers menu. Then let's click on this new button to create a new one. Here I'm choosing the customer as deco edit and I'm adding the payment date here. And we can choose the payment terms here. I'm choosing within 13 days as payment term and we can change the sales journal. After that, under the invoice line, we need to specify the product name. I'm choosing some random product. Here we can see the account, quantity and sales price. From here we can simply add a tax which here I'm adding a tax which we already configured. After adding such details, we need to confirm the invoice. After confirming, we get the journal entries from this journal items tab. We can choose the journal items. Here both income account and receivable account will be affected. As a result of the sale, the revenue of company is increased and the income also increases. So the amount is credited to the income account. As asset grow, the receivable account is debited by the amount. So here also the tax account is shown as credited. Whether the account should be credited or debited, which is depends upon the type of accounts. Then here we can see the entry is locked, which means we enable the locked entries with hash option inside the journal. That's why we cannot edit this particular customer invoice after confirming. We get a preview of the customer by using this preview button. So from here we can see the legal note which we added inside the tags and we can see the authorized signatories or the signature of authorized employees and total invoice amount is shown in words. These two options we get only after enabling the some options from the settings which we discuss later, and we can go back to edit mode by clicking this. After confirming an invoice, we can simply pay the invoice by clicking on this pay button. Then here we can see early discount is applied here just because we pay the amount today. So here the 50% of the total invoice amount is added here. We can create payment from here. And after that, we can go to the payments and we can validate the payment from here. So here we can see the journal entries. From the journal entries, here we can see the early discount payment is added inside the cash discount loss and which is debited here. This is how an invoice is created. So we can simply create a credit note from the invoice itself. We can click on this credit note button and we need to add the reason, or I'm adding a reason as damaged like that. Then we can see the journal and the reversal date. After clicking on this reverse, we can see a reverse invoice is created and we can simply confirm the credit note. You can provide credit note for your clients in the event that errors are made in invoice. The supplied goods or services or the payment, then the credit note can be created to reverse an invoice or a charge. So you will find a separate platform under the customers menu in Odoo AT accounting to manage the customer credit notes. Here we can see all the created credit notes. Then let's move to vendor bills. You can create a vendor invoice in Odoo 18 accounting module by making purchase from a vendor. So we can create a vendor bill from here itself. All payment information for the purchase made by your business from a vendor will be documented on the vendor bill. Following the confirmation of purchase order, you will be given an option to create bill in order to have an associated vendor bill generated automatically. So from here, we can create a new journal, or sorry, vendor bill. Here we can see the vendor bill details. We can mention the vendor. Here we can add the bill date and accounting date separately. After adding these details, we can auto-complete this by using a old bill or using a purchase order. We need to specify the product details. I'm choosing the same acoustic block script and we can confirm the bill from here. And here we can see the bill is paid and this particular in this by using this particular journal it's possible to edit it. We can use this reset to draft button to edit the created invoice or sorry the bill. Then by using this action button we have an option to uh, create a debit note from here. If you want to create a debit note, we can use this particular option to create a debit note from here. Debit note will create another bill in some circumstances. So here we can see the accounting journal entries like here the expense account and account payable is affected. The payable account and the expense account. Here, due to the fact that the payable account's nature is liability, it will credited. On the other hand, because the expense amount is an expense account, so it is debited here. This is how the invoices and bills handled in this Odoo 18 accounting. So I think it's clear. Then let's move to the next topic, which is fiscal positions. As I said before, various nations use different taxes and currencies. So, by using Odoo 18 accounting module, we can easily uh, process the tax mapping. So, for that, we need to choose the fiscal position option under this configuration menu. And to create a new one, click on the new button. Here we need to specify the tax position or fiscal position name. Here I am adding the name as tax mapping. Then it automatically determines the customer's tax rate by location, turning on the Use Tax Cloud API. Then you may see the name of your company in the company field. Odoo 18 will automatically apply the fiscal position based on the place you choose if the detect automatically option is turned on. Once you turn on this option, you will have access to two more choices, namely what required and country group. By turning on the VAT required option, Odoo only consider the partner for this fiscal position if they have a VAT number. Only if the delivery country correspond to the group or group of nations indicated in the country group and country field will the fiscal stance be applied. Here I'm adding a country group as Indian. Then click on the create and edit button. Here we can specify the country. I'm choosing the country as India. Then the tax mapping tab allows you to add the tax that will be mapped to this financial situation. You can specify the tax you want to substitute in the tax on product box by clicking on the add a line button. So I'm choosing 15% sales tax to this VAT tax. And here the tax to apply section allows you to specify the tax that you want to apply to the financial situations. Here also we can see if you specify an account you wish to use for this fiscal position in the account on product and account to use insert sessions respectively under the account mapping tab. Here I am choosing the product sales account and I need to use this export sales, the export sales account instead. So let me save this one. So here I am enabled detect automatically. I need to map 15% sales tax to VAT tax and the product sales account to export sales account. Here I am creating an invoice for a particular customer. I am choosing a customer Joel. Here we can see he is an Indian customer. Then I'm choosing the invoice date and I'm choosing a product acoustic block screen. Let me check the product. Here we can see, okay, currently there is no taxes here. I'm adding a 50% tax here on the acoustic block screen white. Then let me add the same product again. So here we can see we added a 50% tax inside this inside the product, but here a VAT tax is applied and here the account also changed just because. Let me check the other info. Here we can see the fiscal position tax mapping is applied. So just because this here the fiscal position is automatically detected just because the customer is from India. So let's confirm this. This is how the fiscal position works. Then let's check how the multi-currency management happens in Odoo 18. So under this configuration menu, we have currencies option. Odoo offers its users support for many currencies so they can expand their enterprise into global marketplace. We can use this currency option from configuration menu. Then you can set up several currencies in your system. Here we can see a list of currencies. Currently, I am enabling one more currency. I'm searching for INR. Here we can see the currency is not activated yet. We can simply activate it by clicking on this active button. While open this, here we can see the currency name or the active option, and here we can see the symbol, currency unit and currency subunits. Here we can see the rates. The last updated date of this particular currency is the updated date is 1/1/2010, and here we can see the company unit per USD and unit per here we can see the unit. We can simply add the exchange rate by clicking on this add a line button. Currently I'm not adding a new rate. So now let's check how the multi-currency works. For that I'm using this active currency inside the invoice. Clicking the new button. I'm choosing one customer, Joel, the same customer, and I'm adding the invoice date as September 1st, or I'm choosing the invoice date as August 1st, and here we can see the due date, and I'm choosing the currency INR here. After that, let me add one product without using any tax. Here we can see the amount is shown in currency like INR. After that, let's confirm the invoice. So the invoice is confirmed. As I said before, we can add the currency rate manually by using add a line option inside the currency. Besides that, we have an automatic option inside the settings. So here we can see automatic currency rates option. By using this, we can update the exchange rate automatically. Here we can see the service and interval. We can choose interval as manually, daily, weekly, monthly, etc. Then we can update the currency by clicking on this icon. After that, so we need to wait some time. After refreshing, let's check the option again. Yes, here we can see the currency rate will automatically updated. For that, let me check inside the currency. Yes, here we can see the newly updated rate is added here, which is 84 point something. I'm copying this value and move back to the invoice. Here, no, it's not the invoice. Let me check. Yes, here we can see the created invoice. We can pay this, and here we can see the payment date is added here, and we can see the total amount in INR. Let me create a new payment. After that, we have a report named Unrealized Currency Gain or Loss report. Under this reporting menu, let me choose this, and here we can see the invoice which we created. Yes, this is our invoice. Here we can see the amount is updated here, and here we can see balance in foreign currency, which means the amount which we paid or the invoice amount is shown here. And here we can see the balance at operation rate, which means the uh, which means the actual sales price of the product is 295, and here we can see balance at current rate. Let me check how the calculations happens. For that, I'm opening a calculation. Here we can see the balance in foreign currency is added here, which is an amount and we need to divide the amount with our current rate. Then here we can see the amount 209.199, and which is updated as the current rate, which means which is the balance at current rate, and the difference between balance at operation rate and balance at current rate is updated as adjustment. Then this is how the exchange rates shown, and it's also possible to add manual exchange rate from here. We can add some more amount, like I'm adding 19 INRs, then the corresponding value will change. This is how the exchange rates and multi-currency management in Odoo 80. Then let's move to the next session, which is journal entries. Inside the accounting, here we can see two options. One is journal entries and the second one is journal items. The transactions can be entered as a journal entry in the journal. The accounting date, amount to be debited and credited, the reference information and the description of transaction all are recorded in the suitable journal entries. Here we can see all the details. And the double entry bookkeeping system in Odoo requires at least one credit line and one debit line, and have an equal amount of debit and credit is accepted. So the journal items are the individual lines that makes a journal entry. Here we can see the journal items. The accounting menu of this module will access to both journal entries and journal items. Here I am choosing the journal entry. We can manually from here we can view all the journal entries created, and it's also possible to create a manual journal entry from here. For that, click on the new icon. Then the reference sections can be used to cite any source that have been relevant to this journal post. The relevant field will display the entry's accounting date to enter this entry into your journal. Then choose an appropriate journal from the option provided. Using add a line option, we can add the journal items. Here I am adding a miscellaneous journal. Then inside the journal items, we can add the accounts. So just for an example, here I am choosing an account cash, and I am adding an amount of 200 as credit, and I am choosing another account petty cash and the amount debited as 200. After adding the accounts, we can click this post button. Then the entry is posted now. This is how a miscellaneous journal entry is added. Then we can here inside the journal entries, we have option to filter the journals, or we have option to group by this journals. And here I'm choosing the group option. Then here we can see under miscellaneous. Yes, here we can see the journal entry which I created. This is about the journal entries. And let's move to the customers. The customers menu contains the option customers, and from here we have a list of, or this is the Kanban view of customers. We can see it in a list view by clicking on this, and we have filters, group by options here. To create a new customer, we can use this new button. Here and currently open an existing customer. Then all the accounting details about this particular customer is we can view from the accounting tab. Here we can see the details like bank accounts, customer invoices, automation, follow-up levels, accounting entries like that. And here inside the accounting entries, we can see account receivable and account payable. Here the account receivable, this account will be used instead of the default one as the receivable account for the current partner. Then the next one is account payable. This account will be used instead of the the default one as the payable account for the current partner. Then here we can see auto post bill options, which is new in Odoo 18, I think. This option is used to automatically post bills for the trusted partners. We can choose three options, either always, then the for this particular partner is considered as a trusted one, and the bills will always auto posted. And ask after 3 validation without edits, then we can only auto post the bill after 3 validation of some other bills without any edits. Then never option will not auto post any bill of this particular partner. Then here we can see the follow-up levels, which is a new updation in Odoo 18. The follow-up levels, you may locate it. You may locate and take care of the late payments with the use of the Odoo 18's follow-up reports. Follow-up levels are located inside the configuration menu here. From here, we can configure new follow-up levels, which is nothing. By using this follow-up levels, we can follow up the payments, which means if any payment due is happen, we can follow up the particular customer using this follow-up levels. And inside the customers, here we have or we can see the follow-up levels after 15 days, 13 days, like that. Here we can see the reminder can be either set as automatic or manual. We can use the send button to send the invoices to remind the partner. And here we can add the next reminder date, and we can add a responsible person for this follow-up. Then the some other newly updated feature is this send money option, which means sending fake invoices with a fraud account number is a common problem. Or the to protect yourself, always verify a new bank account number, preferably by calling the vendor, as usually happens when their emails are compromised. Once verified, you can activate the ability to send money to get this Send money option, the user needs an access right of bank as validated bank account. Here, let me duplicate a tab and we can check the users. Here inside the accounting rights of, here we can see the bank, the access right of bank. So from here we can choose validate bank account. The user only with the access of validated bank account can see this send money option. Then one of the newly updated feature is this customer statement. By clicking on this, we can directly lead to the partner ledger of this particular partner. We can view the partner ledger from here, and it's also possible to download this partner ledger by clicking on this particular button. So here from this PDF, we can simply download this particular partner ledger. And inside the action button also, we have open customer statements. From here also, we can move to the partner ledger, which is also an updated feature in 80. Then let's move to another case. If a customer, I'm choosing an invoice for one customer, deco edit, the same customer. I'm adding a product with $750 and the invoice date is set as December 1st and the payment is actually immediate payment. So here we can see the payment is due and we can see this due inside. There is an option like aged receivable. So inside this aged receivable, these are the reports on the outstanding invoices. The payment will fall under the category of aged receivable if the customer does not pay the invoice even after the day specified in the payment terms. So we created an invoice for the partner deco edits and let me check my invoice here. Here we can see the created invoices here with the amount. So, which is in between 1 to 13 days, which means the due is between 1 to 13 days. As similar, if there is any payment due in case of vendor, here we can see I'm doing the same thing and payment as immediate payment and I'm adding one random product with an amount $200. After confirming this, this will be visible inside the aged payable, which means the aged payable platform displays the delayed payment reports similar to aged receivable platform. These postponed payments are supposed to be sent by your business to the appropriate partner prior to the due date. So we can see the aged, aged payable report and which is for Azure Interior. Here we can see the bill and which is also in between 1 to 13 days. Then here we can see the accounts. As I said before, we can see the ledger from here inside the journal item. So these accounts are, we configure this account inside the product. Here we can see inside the product option. I'm using or I'm opening random product. Under the accounting tab, here we can see income account, expense account and price difference account. Here we can specify the income account of this particular product or the value that will be stored inside this income account, and here we can mention the expense account and price difference account. Besides that, we have option to set this account inside the category also. Here also we have option to set the income and the expense account, and we can set the same accounts inside the journals and also inside the settings. So the priority of the accounts will move from products, product category, journal settings, etc. And according to the priority, the accounts will chosen inside the bill or invoices. So the next one is asset. The Odoo 18 accounting modules instruction has made asset management simpler. The platform, especially designed for managing asset both for long-term use, are available in Odoo 18. The fixed asset will be eventually lost value as a result of depreciation over time. So let's start by creating an asset model. We get the asset model option under configuration menu, and while scroll down here we can see asset model under this management section. As seen in the screen, Odoo 18 will direct or which will shows the asset name, fixed asset account, depreciation account, method, number of depreciation and period length will be displayed in the list of asset models. We can create a new one by clicking on this new button. Then here you can enter the name of asset model in the asset model area, and you have three options for depreciation methods, which are straight line, declining and straight line. So a popular and simpler to calculate depreciation method is straight line. You may figure it out by dividing the gross value by the time frame. And the second one is declining. You can specify a decreasing factor when using the declining technique. Then multiplying the value by the designed declining factor yields the value. Then the above mentioned strategies or the straight line and declining are combined in declining then straight line approach. Which means the straight line value serves as minimal depreciation value and it functions similar to the declining technique. Let's discuss each one. Before that, here we can see a duration box. This duration allows you to specify the number of depreciation needed to depreciate your asset. And you can set no pro rata, constant period, and based on days per period as the computation techniques. You may also see your company name in the appropriate field. Then here we can mention the not depreciation value in percentage. Here we can mention the accounting details like depreciation account, expense account and journals here. You can mention the fixed asset account that was utilized to record the asset purchase together with the asset initial purchase price. This depreciation account option allow you to enter the account that will be utilized to reduce the asset value during depreciation entries. Then the account used in the periodic entries can be added to the expense account field to record a portion of the asset as an expense. Then by specifying the journals for this asset model, asset model's accounting entries, the settings can be finished. Here I am creating a new asset model named as devices. Then I'm choosing the method as straight line and duration is 5 years and the computation method is constant period. I add the depreciation account as fixed asset and choosing a expense account here. Let's save the settings and let's move to create a new asset. Then let's create a new asset for this asset model. For that, we need to choose the accounting menu. Under that, here we can see the asset option. I'm choosing the asset and here we can see the asset name, acquisition date, original value, method, book value, depreciable value, status, etc. We can create a new asset by clicking on this new button. Here I'm adding the name as laptop. And here we can choose the asset model. If I'm choosing the asset model, here we can see the accounting details are already filled and the depreciation method we choose there as straight line with the computation as constant period, duration 5 years, etc. Then here we can see the acquisition date, original value. I'm adding the original value as 1000 and adding the acquisition date as December 1st. Then if I am adding the non-depreciable value here as 100, then the book value also changed. Currently, I am not adding any value. After adding the details, here we can choose the confirm button to confirm this asset, or we can use this compute depreciation button to compute the depreciation board. I'm computing the depreciation, then a depreciation board is added here. While checking on this, Here we can see the depreciation board shows the depreciation values. Let's check each one. For that, I'm choosing a calculator. Then here we can see the the first year is 2024. Here we can see the depreciation value is 16.67, which means here the value is 1000 and I'm choosing the straight line method. The straight line method for 5 years. That's why we need to divide the value with the time frame, which means $200 added as a depreciation value in each year. But this current year, we are only we choose the acquisition date as December 1st, which means only 1 month is added here. So we need to check the depreciation value for a month. So we can see the depreciation value for a month is 16.66 or 16.67. That is added here as depreciation value, and 1000 minus this depreciation value is added as depreciable value here. Then the next month or from the next month, as per the straight line method, $200 is added as depreciation value. And the last month, the depreciable value is only 183.33. So it's less than the 200. So that value is added here. This is how the asset calculation happen. If I'm choosing or if I'm changing the method as declining and I'm choosing the computation as no pro rata, then here after computing the depreciation, here we can see the depreciable value is shown here as 300, which means this time we choose the declining method. So we need to multiply the declining factor with our value. That's why we get that this 300. Then 1000 minus 300 is shown as depreciable value. Then we need to, for the next year, we need to check or we need to multiply with the depreciable value, or we need to multiply both the depreciable value and the declining factor together. Then we get this value. This is how the asset calculation will happen. We can confirm the asset. Then here we can see it's in running stage. If we want to modify the depreciation, we can click this modify button and it's possible to dispose, sell or reevaluate or pause this asset. Then we can save this as a model by clicking on this particular button. Then if we want to cancel the asset, we can click this cancel button. Here we can see a posted entries. We can see all the posted entries while checking on this particular smart tab. This is how asset management happens in Odoo 18 accounting module. So let's check the budget option. Odoo 18 introduced two type of budget. First one is analytic budget and second one is financial budget. So let's check the analytic budget first. Before that, we need to enable the budget management option from settings. So I'm moving to settings, and while scroll down, here under the analytics section, we have an option to budget management. We need to enable the budget management and analytic account features together. Then after saving, we can see analytic budget option under the accounting. Here we can see the budget name, state, responsible person, activity, status, etc. We can create a new one by clicking on this new button. So the analytic budget in Odoo 18 allows the business to plan, monitor and control financial performance by setting budget for specific analytic accounts and comparing them against actual revenue and expense. We can add the budget name here. I'm adding a greenhouse plan 2024 as the budget name. And here we can mention the responsible person and we can choose this budget type either as expense or revenue, or we can choose both options. So here I'm choosing this as expense and we need to specify the period. Here I'm specifying the budget period from December 1st to January 31st. After that, under budget lines, we can specify the analytic account here. Here, or I'm adding under this analytic plan. This is for greenhouse 2024, and here we can mention the budgeted amount. Here I'm choosing or I'm adding the budgeted amount as 2000. Then after adding such details, here we can see the budget is in draft stage and we can open the budget by clicking this open button. Here we can see the budgeted amount, committed amount, and the achieved amount, theoretical value, committed percentage and achieved percentage, theoretical percentage, and such details here. Here we can see the committed amount and achieved amount. Committed amount is shown here, and here the theoretical amount is nothing. The amount supposed to be billed or invoiced till this date is shown here as theoretical amount. So this is an expense. So here we can see or we can say that the amount supposed to be billed till this date is shown here. This is for that I'm choosing the calculator, and here we can see the planned amount is 2000 and we need to divide it by the total days, which means 31 days in December and 31 days in January. Here we can see the amount supposed to be billed per day is 32.25, and till this date means for 13 days. Here we can see it is shown as the theoretical amount. Then the committed amount and achieved amount. Achieved amount means the total billed amount is shown here. And here we can see 55% is achieved, and here we can see the theoretical percentage is 20.97. Then let's create a new vendor bill. Let's create a new bill. I'm choosing the customer as James. I'm adding a product as greenhouse, and I'm choosing here the greenhouse plan 2024 with one quantity and price as 200 without any tax. Then let me confirm the value. Sorry, we need to specify the bill date. I'm choosing the bill date as today, and after that confirm, and let's pay the bill. After that, going back to the budget, and choosing greenhouse plan 2024. Here we can see the committed amount and achieved amount is increased, which means with that the committed percentage, achieved percentage is also increased, which means the we created a bill again, so the committed amount and achieved amount is increased. If I'm choosing a purchase order for the vendor or the same vendor, and I'm adding a new product as green hood, and I'm choosing my greenhouse plan again, and with an amount of $10. Then after confirming, here we can see where the product is received, and I'm going back to accounting. While checking the analytic budget, here we can see the committed amount is increased with the $10, which means the achieved amount is not changed, but the committed amount is increased with $10. We created a purchase order for $10. So moving back to purchase, and I'm creating a bill, specifying the bill date here as today. After confirming the amount, let me pay the bill, and moving back to accounting, then checking the analytic budget again. While opening the greenhouse plan, here we can see the achieved amount is also increased. We have options to reset is to draft, and we can revise the bill. We can revise the budget. If I'm revising this, here we can see a revision of greenhouse plan 2024, which means a revised version is shown here. After opening this, we can continue It's possible to edit the revised version, and after opening we can continue this plan, or we can continue the budget again. This is how the analytic budget handled in Odoo 18. Then let's check how the financial budget is happening. For that, I'm moving to the configuration and choosing the financial budget option from here. Here we can see uh, under accounting, uh, here we have the financial budget option. Here we can see the previously created one, and we can create a new budget by clicking on this new button. The financial budget in Odoo 18 helps the business to allocate and track overall company-wide budget, enabling the comparison between planned and actual financial performance across the accounts. Here I'm adding the name as Budget 2024, and from here we can choose the accounts. Currently I'm choosing the previously created export sales account, and I'm choosing the month as December. We can set an amount here. I'm adding an amount as $1,000. After saving the settings, here inside the reporting, here we have a profit and loss report. Inside this report, from here we have a new filter which is named as budget. From here we can choose the budget. Yes, here we can choose the budget 2024, and here we can see the amount, or the target amount which we added, and here we can see the actual amount. So we have a comparison, or it's possible to compare the targeted value and the achieved value from here. This is the use of financial budget in Odoo 80. Then let's check the deferred expenses. Expenses that have been incurred but are not yet payable are known as deferred expenses. In other words, these are costs that have already been paid but won't be reimbursed until later. Deferred expenses are crucial because they give firms a mechanism to account for costs associated with asset that will be used over an extended period of time. So let's check how handle or the deferred expenses in Odoo 18. For that, I'm moving to the settings, and here we have a session named default accounts. Yes, here we can see the deferred entries, or the deferred expense entries. Here the journal chosen is miscellaneous journal, and here we can see the deferred expense account, which is a prepaid account. The account type is current asset, which is as I said before, it is a prepaid expense, which means this expense is actually an asset for the company. So here we have two options to generate entries. We can generate the deferred expense entries on bill validation or manually and grouped. Here I'm choosing the on bill validation, and here we can see we can calculate the amount based on days, months, etc. Here the chosen method is 4 months. For checking the deferred entries, we can create a vendor bills. So the deferred expenses are used in Odoo 18 accounting to manage the prepaid expenses. These are intended to specify the framework for the system's handling for postponed expenses. This can be used, for an instance, to specify account posting guideline and the timing of when a cost should be recognized. It can also be applied to create a deferred expense account. Deferred expenses are tracked in this account, which is updated as costs are reimbursed or recognized. So let's create a new vendor bill. I'm creating a new vendor bill for the vendor Akafost, and I'm choosing the bill date as current date. Then let's add a new product. I'm choosing the product as warranty. And from here, we need to mention the start date. I'm choosing the start date as December 1st, and I'm adding uh, the end date as April 30th, which means after 5 months. And here we can see the quantity, and I'm changing the price from 200 to 500. So the bill is created. Let's confirm the bill. After confirming the bill, here we have a new smart tab named Deferred Entries. So we can view all the created deferred entries from this particular smart tab. Here we can see all the deferred entries are shown here. And here, while we checking the first entry, here we can see the expense account and prepaid expenses are affected. Here, so here the expense is decreases. So that's why the credit is happen here. And inside the prepaid expenses, as I said before, which is a current asset account, here the asset is increases. So we can see a debit is shown here. While checking the draft entry for the deferred expense uh, in this particular month, here we can see the expense account is debited. So the expenses increases here. So the amount is shown as debited, which means we add the total amount as 500 and we choose the month from December to April, which means 5 months. So the total expense is not for this current month, which is affected on the 5 months, or which is for the 5 months. That's why the whole amount is divided by the time frame. So we get the amount $100 here. Here the expense is increases, so we can see that account is debited, and the prepaid expense, which means the asset is decreases here. So here we can see the credit is happened. So while checking the entry, here we can see the entry is not posted yet. So from the other info, we can disable this auto post and we can manually post the entry. Then we have a reporting session too for this deferred expenses. Under reporting, under reporting, here we have a management report and we get the deferred expense report from here. From here, we can see all the total amount, and here we can see the deferred expense entry. 100 is shown here in the December. While checking the other months, here we can see the deferred entries are shown here. This is how the deferred expenses handle in Odoo 18. So the expenses, the deferred expenses for the company, which is a prepaid expense. So this deferred expenses is considered as a asset for the company. So let's check what about the deferred revenue. Asset, which is similar as deferred expense. The deferred revenue feature is especially helpful for business that provide subscription services or have recurring revenue model, because it make it possible for companies to monitor client payments made in advance for goods or services that have not yet been received. So for that, I'm moving to configuration settings again. Then under the default account, yes, we have a deferred entries or deferred revenue entries also. Uh, as similar as expenses, the deferred or the journal is a miscellaneous journal, and here we can see the deferred revenue account. While checking the account type, here we can see the deferred revenue account as a current liability. So which means the deferred revenue is not an income, which is considered as a liability for the company. Then here we can see similar as deferred expense, we have two methods on bill validation or manually and grouped. For this, I am choosing manually and grouped, and here we can see we can calculate the amount based on days, months, or full month. I am choosing the same months here. Then let's save the settings. After that, or for instance, a business might provide a subscription based services and charge the client before providing the service or the item. So the prepayment or the payment will be represented on the balance sheet as deferred revenue, indicating that the revenue has not yet been generated. When a service is when the service is rented, the deferred money will subsequently be recognized as a actual revenue. So for that, let's check or let's create a customer invoice. For that, I'm moving to the customer and choosing the invoice option. Let's create a new one for the deferred revenue. For this time, I'm choosing Deco Edit as the customer, and here I'm choosing the current date as invoice date. Let's add a new product, which is a subscription. It's also a service product, and we can mention the start date. I'm choosing the start date from December to March 31st. So here we can see the total price is shown as 1000 without any tax. And let's confirm the invoice. But there is no journal entry is created here just because we set it as manually and grouped. To check the journal entries, let's check the reporting, and under the management report we get the the deferred revenue. Here let's filter from December. Here we can see the account, or here we can see the amount is affected here, and here we can see the deferred revenue amounts 250 is shown in December, and here we can see the remaining 750 is for the other months. Let's if we want to generate a entry, we can generate it manually from here. We have a generate entry option from here. Here we can see the entry is created, and while checking the entry, here we can see this is the deferred entry for the month. Here we can see the accounting date is 31st. From the other info, we want to change the auto post option, and we can post the journal entry from here. While checking the journal item, here we can see the product sales account, which is an income account. Here we can see the whole amount is shown here, and here the the deferred revenue is 250 per month. So here we can see the income account is creditor, which means the income is increases here. So the 250 is shown here as credit. So the deferred revenue is a liability, and here we can see the liability also. And here we have a journal entry here, which is a reversal of this particular this particular journal entry. Here we can see the product sales is shown as credit, and both the product sales and deferred revenue is shown as or debit here. And if we generate a journal entry for the next month, January, then let's generate an entry. Here we can see, as I said before, so previously inside this reversal entry, the product sales account is credited with 1000. So here we generate an entry for the product sales inside the debit. So both the entries are cancelled. Then from here we can see the 250 is credited, and inside the deferred revenue 250 is also credited. And here also we generate a reversal entry to cancel the entries. This is how the deferred entries handled in, or the deferred revenue entries handled in Odoo 18. So this, as I said before, the deferred entry is not a revenue or not an income, which is considered as a liability to the company. Then let's go to the next session under the settings. Here we have a newly introduced or new options here, like WIP account properties. Let's check about this account properties. So this is work in progress accounts, which means in Odoo 18, the work in progress accounts help the business to track the value of partially completed goods during production. So this allows for more accurate cost management and financial reporting, and helps to ensure the compliance with the accounting standards, enabling the accurate tracking of material and labor cost on balance sheet. These are available inside the settings under the stock valuation section, as shown in the screen, and which is newly introduced in Odoo 18. So let's check about this work in progress account. For that, I'm moving to the manufacturing module, and under this operation, here we get the manufacturing orders. So let's choose one particular order which is in state in progress. Here we can see there is an order which is in progress, and while open this, here we can see the components are shown here with quantities. And under the work order, here the work order is in progress, and currently the duration is shown here. And and it's possible to edit the duration. For an example, I'm adding the duration as 16 minutes. So from here we can create a stock valuation uh, journal. For that, inside the action button, we have an option to post WIP accounting entries. While clicking on this, here we get the information. From here, we get the journal entry. Here we can see the stock valuation account. Inside the stock valuation account, the component value is added. Here, an amount is shown here. So, while checking, this is the total cost of the components. Here we use several components, and here we can see the total cost of components is credited inside the stock valuation account. Here we can see the cost of production, which is shown here. The cost of production is the total cost of uh, the work center and plus the employee cost, which is added as cost of production. And here we can see the total amount is shown in work in progress. We can post the work in progress account from here, and here also it's possible to add the work in progress record or this work in progress accounts for all the manufacturing orders from here. In this one click, here we get the post WIP accounting entries, and here we can see all the values, and it's possible to add the post WIP. Then while checking the accounting module again, we can see under the journal entries, here we can see yes, here we can see the posted entries are shown here. This is the entry which we posted as our work in progress account. So this is a new feature updated in Odoo 18. So let's move to the last session, which is reporting. Under reporting, we have several options like statement report, audit report, partner reports, management reports, etc. So any type of business needs report to understand how the operations are progressing and to analyze the workflow. A clearly defined reporting platform will streamline the analysis process and assist you in making decisions under pressure-filled circumstances. So let's move to the reporting. Here we can see under statement report, the first report is balance sheet. The balance sheet report gives the user access to information about an organization's asset, liability, and equity at one time. By utilizing the additional functionalities provided by Odoo 18, you may produce customized reports by choosing the date on the small calendar icon shown in the screen. So it's able to obtain the balance sheet for a specific date. The comparison tool, here we can see the comparison tool, can be used to compare the reports to prior to the time frame. You can choose a specific journal from the journal option. If you want the balance sheet report for that specific journal, you will also have access to some sophisticated filters that will allows you to order the accessible data in accordance with your needs. Here we can see the hide lines at 0. It's a new filter, and the specific filter can be used to hide the lines in report that has value of 0. And here, if we want to split it horizontally, we can use this split horizontally. Here we can see the current asset, liability, and equity values. Then I think let's move to the next reporting. It's profit and loss report. I think the profit and loss report is quite similar. The most crucial aspect of financial reporting is the report for income statements. You may find the organization's revenue, cost, profit, and loss for the specific time period in the profit and loss reporting platform. Unlike the balance sheet, the ending balance of the profit and loss report for the chosen time period will not be carried over the following accounting years. Here also we have the calendar icon, comparisons, journals, posted entries or filters options. From here we can view the budget also. Then the next statement report is cash flow statement. The financial statement for all cash inflows and outflows will be provided by the cash flow statement reporting. The accounts you set up for the cash flow statement invoices will be the basis of these reports. You will receive reports on the cash flow statement based on the operating, investment, and financial operations. Here we can see the cash flow statement. And the next one is executive summary. The cash flow, profitability, and the balance sheet reports for the specific period are summarized on this executive summary platform, which is accessible from the reporting menu. The performance tab also provides the information on return on investment, gross profit margin, and the net profit margin. You may view the average debitors day, average creditors day, short-term cash forecast, and current asset to liability under the position tab. And the next reporting is tax return. So the tax report platform, which is accessible via the reporting menu, may produce thorough reports on sales and purchase taxes. You can submit the return tax for the chosen period by using this closing entry. Currently, I'm choosing the tax period as October. Then here we can see some taxes and I'm clicking on this closing entry. Here we can see the tax closing entry or tax return as given as reference, and here we can see the accounting date as the last date of October month, and the journalism is miscellaneous journal, and here we can see the accounts tax received and tax payable are shown here. We can post this entry by clicking on this post button. Now the tax return entry is posted. Then one of the interesting fact is that after closing the entry, here under this accounting, we have an option like log dates. While clicking on this log dates, here we can see the log tax return date is already updated here. And this log tax return date which prevent the tax return modification up to the defined date inclusive of all taxes or journal entries involving taxes. The tax return log date is automatically set when the corresponding journal entry is posted. Then here we have other log dates like log sales, log purchases, log everyone and hard log. Here we can see the log everyone is that if the user add log everyone, which prevents the journal entry creation or modification up to the defined date, inclusive of all the users. As the closed period, all accounting operations are prohibited. But in the case of this hard lock, it's it's also a lock dates, but no exceptions are needed here. Or if we lock this everyone, there we have or we can allow some exceptions. This is how the lock dates. And moving back to the reporting, here we can see there are several audit report like general ledger, trial balance or general audit, check register, etc. And this next category is partner report. The partner ledger, aged receivable and aged payable, which we also discussed. And we can see other management reports like invoice analysis, analytic report, deferred expense, deferred revenue, and etc. here. So this is all about the Odoo 18 reporting. So we can conclude the webinar, and here we discussed almost the new features of Odoo 18 accounting. So let's conclude the session. For more clarification, you can check out functional and technical videos and blogs. You can easily contact us through email by using this odoo@cybrosys.com. Thanks for your attention.